About halfway between the northeast coast of Australia and Fiji lies the French territory of New Caledonia. In 1774, Captain James Cook was the first European to exploit its natural resources, fashioning ship's masts from the towering Araucaria pines that still dot its coastline. Today, New Caledonia is the French Riviera of the South Pacific. The tourism that fuels a large part of New Caledonia's economy brought French native Bruno Van Peteghem here in the late 1970s. As a flight attendant for Air France, he knows just how important the island's natural treasures are in attracting visitors from around the world.
When people come to South Pacific, they want to relax in New Caledonia because it's very natural and even virgin. But they forget that Noumea is the most industrial city in the South Pacific.
Beyond the beaches, over the hill from shops and restaurants, in the dusty soil which supports the Araucarias, lies nickel, and some of the world's richest deposits of this essential metal are here.
They come in New Caledonia because there is no rules at all. They live with the money, and we keep the problem.
In New Caledonia, what the mining industry wants, it gets. The International Nickel Company of Canada, known as INCO, wants to introduce a sulfuric acid refining process. To neutralize the acid waste requires calcium carbonate. INCO thinks it has found a cheap and plentiful source of calcium carbonate right here on the islands. Coral reefs. Second only in size to Australia's Great Barrier Reef, the living coral shoals which surround New Caledonia are relatively immune to the global warming effects responsible for killing coral in other tropical areas.
But now, with a mining corporation coming here, it will be the end of the nature protection.
Concerned that decades of toxic runoff from nickel mining have already begun to kill off some reefs, Van Peteghem has founded the organization Coral Vivant, Living Coral, which is attempting to place New Caledonia's reef system on UNESCO's World Heritage List. A tall order when you consider as much as 90% of the island's export revenue comes from mining.
Projects like this INCO or others represent a lot of money, and the government on New Caledonia plays a game for the project.
This will not be the first time Van Peteghem has locked horns with government. In 1994, plans were announced to construct a luxury apartment complex on Moselle Bay. The bay's shoreline is a protected maritime area. Van Peteghem discovered that the building company's president has political connections all the way to the top.
Jacques Lafleur is a very powerful man, and every time he wants to change a law, he asks for it, and the judge follows him.
Private citizen Van Peteghem took the information public. He formed the Moselle Bay Association, which sued the developers. Van Peteghem began to receive death threats. On New Year's Eve, 1998, the Van Peteghem family home was burned to the ground.
I was very sure the fire wasn't accident. Certain people try to make living Bruno from the island, but when they push Bruno, it just makes him stronger.
In the spring of 2000, the courts finally canceled building permits for the development. This development. Its construction was completed while the case was being argued. The Moselle Bay Association is currently working to have the buildings torn down and the shoreline restored. Today, Bruno Van Peteghem's attention is fixed on two of New Caledonia's outlying islands.
Particularly Lifou and Marais, who are coral islands, so there is a lot of carbonate. So they make a contract to take 50,000 tons of carbonate a year.
Van Peteghem and Coral Vivant are wasting no time. They have secured the support of New Caledonia's two leading indigenous political parties to list the reef as a World Heritage Site.
Et en troisième lieu, les terres, les domaines publics, même s'ils sont des projets d'ordre économique et social, mais qui vont à l'encontre de l'intérêt de gens qui ont besoin de respirer comme tout le monde.
This victory, along with growing worldwide concern about the importance of reef protection, may signal a turning point in Van Peteghem's campaign.
The award goes to one man, but behind this man there is a lot of men and women. And in France we have a saying, tous pour un pour tous. And in US I think it is One for all for one.
For outstanding environmental achievement in island nations, the 2001 Goldman Environmental Prize is awarded to Bruno Van Peteghem of Noumea, New Caledonia.